Love Ki Ghanti 1. You can't decide when it rings. Written by Mr. Deepak Satya. Chapter 8. The mental condition of the daughter's father. Every person wakes up in the morning and imagines his/her future. This is a normal process. For this reason, humans decide what, why, when, and how to do it today. In such a situation, other people's thoughts become obstacles in their imagination and also bring shortcomings to their plans. For many years, newspapers have been playing the role of a person who pollutes the imagination of every person and forces them to think things that have nothing to do with that person's life. Suppose you read in the newspaper some morning that the Bharatiya men's cricket team won the World Cup. So think about which task will become easier in your life with this. No one is there, but you forget the goals of your life and keep thinking about the whole day that Bharat won the World Cup. Suppose you read in the newspaper that there was a theft in your neighboring town. You must be worried thinking about this. Even if there is nothing in your home worth stealing, you may still be worried. Babita's Pitaji was unaware of this poisonous effect of newspapers. As usual, when he reached the grocery store to buy milk and newspapers, he found that everyone was worried and reading the same news. A girl named Nirbhaya was raped in Delhi. In Delhi, the capital of independent Bharat, women were raped every day. From this sentence alone, you should guess that rape of women had become the new normal in independent Bharat. The rapists who made the heinous act of rape a common occurrence were not the British of the times of subjugated Bharat, but were purely independent Bharatiyas. Perhaps this was the reason why the Bharatiya justice system was so kind to rapists, that rape cases were increasing every year. A total of 24,206 cases of rape were registered in 2011, while 24,923 cases were registered in 2012. The thing to note is that these cases are only those that reached the police files. Any sensible person can imagine what would be the actual number of cases in independent Bharat, with a population of 127 crores at the time of 2012. Looking at the figures, you must have understood that just as independent Bharatiyas had accepted intoxications, politics of defection with empty speeches, and riots in the name of religion as normal events, in the same way, independent Bharatiyas also started ignoring rapes of women, considering them as a normal incident. The soul of the civilized society that considered rape as normal was shaken on the 17th of December 2012. On the 16th of December 2012, a girl named Nirbhaya was gang raped in the country's capital Delhi. The rapists had crossed all limits of brutality while raping Nirbhaya. This cruelty was so terrible that the soul of even the worst person shuddered. In such a situation, it would be easy for anyone to imagine what would have gone through the mind of a poor father of two daughters. Ever since Shabnam Babita's Papaji had read this news, bad thoughts about the world were coming to his mind. He came home almost running from the grocery store. He had to reach home quickly and see his daughters' faces. Till 3 years ago, Babita's Papaji had a habit that as shortly as he woke up in the morning while brushing his teeth with Datin, he would go out to buy newspapers and milk. He used to look at his daughters' faces at breakfast time. At the same time, the daughters used to express only those needs that their father could fulfill. The only change in Papaji's habit 3 years ago was that he used to meet Babita only at breakfast time. Shabnam was given strict instructions not to anger her father by coming in front of him. Shabnam, who stayed in her room day and night, also used to have breakfast in her room. Like every day, Papaji had not seen his daughters even today. But today he was very eager to see their faces. Although he had to check the well-being of his two daughters with his own eyes, he was more worried about Shabnam. He could not even remember when he had seen Shabnam's face properly. What happened? Seeing her nervous husband, Mommy asked. Ignoring his wife, Papaji hugged Shabnam, crying. "My daughter," was all he was saying while crying. Shabnam, whom Papaji had not spoken to for 3 years, was crying and looking at her carefully. At that very moment, he had noticed that Shabnam had become a little fat, and her glow was also missing from her face. Standing at the threshold of her room, Babita had no idea why Papa G was crying. Even Shabnam and Mommy G did not know, but Shabnam was very happy to get Papa G's love. "Papa G, please calm down, tell me what exactly happened?" Shabnam had asked many times, but Papa G was unable to answer. At last, he showed his wife the painful news in the newspaper, after reading that the poor father of 2 daughters started worrying about his daughters. The rest of the men of Paris colony also kept coming home and telling this painful news to their respective families early in the morning. Breakfast was not cooked at anyone's house in that colony that morning. Just as the Delhi incident had an impact on Paris colony of Dehradun, it had the same impact on almost every street and locality across Bharat. The cold stoves in locks of houses were testifying to the fact that daughters lived in those houses too. On the other side, Raju slept late and woke up late. There was no sister or daughter in his house, but breakfast was not prepared in his house that day either. Both the parents were in the neighbor's house. They were convincing their neighbors that their daughters were safe. They were assuring them that all this happens in Delhi and not in Dehradun. Therefore, they should not worry unnecessarily. Although Raju's parents knew that the neighboring family was not without reason worried about their daughters, thinking about what had happened to a stranger's daughter. Fear is like a contagious disease that affects miles away. Waking up late, Raju thought that some relatives of the neighbors might have died, so his parents had gone to their house to console them. This had happened many times before, so he did not waste his time investigating. Keeping an eye on the time, Raju prepared breakfast for himself, ate it quickly and went to work. While leaving, some friends of his age called him in the street, but he signaled to them from a distance that there is no time. Completely unaware of the incident in Delhi, Raju was rapidly going towards the hotel. He didn't even pay attention to the silence on the way. There was a crowd in Raju's hotel early in the morning, seeing which Raju became happy from a distance. Yesterday's tip of 100 rupees seemed dwarfed to this crowd. He thought in his mind that today he would earn a tip of 200 rupees early in the morning. But when he reached inside the hotel, he came to know that this crowd had not come to eat food. There was an LCD TV hanging on the wall of the dining area of the hotel, on which the news of the nearby incident was playing. Everyone from nearby had come to the hotel to see that news. All the men were there, men of all ages and classes. But there was a common expression on everyone's faces: pain, suffering, and pity. Raju was watching TV while slowly moving forward and crossing the crowd. Raju's mood deteriorated badly in just a minute. Pity for that unknown girl also appeared on his face. Like other men, Raju also trembled from within, imagining the pain of that unknown girl. Raju could not believe how someone could do this. He was feeling ashamed even of being a man. On the morning of the 17th of December 2012, Raju was not the only one who felt ashamed of being a man. There are millions of men in Bharat who generally ignore incidents of rape because they do not engage in such acts. But the Nirbhaya incident was such an incident that no good-hearted man could ignore. The goodness of those good-natured men was making them hate themselves. If you are not able to understand this situation, then an attempt can be made to explain it to you through a trick. Remember that whenever you hear a joke in which a boy dominates a girl, then you start feeling proud of being a boy without any reason. The reason behind this pride experienced in joking is that you are a man. Your mind starts thinking that you are the joke's boy. Similarly, when good-hearted men hear about a bad man, they feel ashamed. This is human nature. This human nature is also called sympathy. People go crazy with joy when Sachin Tendulkar scores runs. Sachin feels that people are going crazy for him, but the truth is that due to the quality of sympathy, the spectators are feeling in their minds that they are scoring runs. It is sympathy that makes good men feel bad when they hear about the evil deeds of bad men. Due to the Nirbhaya incident that happened in Delhi, many good-hearted men like Raju were suffering from within.